I think we in there again, bro. We back again?
We back again.
We live? What up, everybody, man? Welcome back. Again, my name is Jacques Wright.
Adrian Peace.
And this is the Nice Guys Podcast. So we definitely, man, we bringing it back in. And today we're about to talk about the Second Amendment.
That's right. The right to bear arms.
You know, the whole that, you know, they call it the blicky.
Yeah, the blicky.
The Glock.
The yiggy.
The yicky.
Yeah.
The stick.
Many names.
Yeah, you know, it comes with many names, but we're just going to talk about the right to bear arms and just some things that we took into consideration, of course, and we got some laptops up because we want to make sure, again, we're following the guidelines and just making some stuff up.
We freestyling a little bit, so we want to make sure we don't freestyle nothing incorrect.
Yeah, not talking out the cheeks, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, we want to talk with some stuff that's going to be in front of us that makes sense.
Right.
But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, and I was talking to you about it a little bit as well, just like understanding like the whole premise of having, you know, the freedom to bear arms.
Yeah.
And even like thinking about us as, you know, at one point in this country, not even having alienable rights. Man. So it changes the game up.
Absolutely.
You know, once you understand your rights, then at that point, it's kind of hard for somebody to take something away from you.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to understand this amendment, I think is very important. I mean, the First Amendment, of course, but the Second Amendment to me, I feel like being able to protect yourself at all costs is the most important thing.
And what Dave say, of course, they're going to make the First Amendment the right to bear speech. You're going to need that to bear arms right after it.
Right afterwards, baby. And I played the field.
Yeah.
F-I-F. Field. You know what I'm saying? But and I think it's very important that we talk about it, man, because we see like certain movements. We talk about the Black Panther movement and stuff like that, and Huey P. Newton, he's probably was well educated. You got to know the amendments, because if you don't know the amendments, then people can take your rights away from you.
Right.
There's a reason why they've been ratified and put into place the Constitution to protect yourself against whatever could take place here in the United States. And also, understanding your rights can protect you from legal standpoints as well, too. Somebody come in your house, overstep boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what time it is. You come to my house, it's going to be the 4th of July in the middle of December. But go ahead, man. How you feel about that, bro?
Hey, I feel the same way, man. It's like you gotta be able to protect, especially as a man. Like you want to be able to protect your own and protect your peoples and stuff like that. And especially living in Texas, it's like they got them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have mine.
Yeah,
it's like I would love to, in a perfect world where we didn't need stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But facts are, is like, what's the saying? I'd rather have it and need it.
Have it needed at the time, yeah. So I mean, I definitely agree with that.
Right.
And also like not abusing that power. You know, a lot of times you get excited. Like I feel like being able to have bear an arm shouldn't just be, I'm just gonna have a gun so I could be cool and use it whenever. Yeah. And like, I'm gonna be real. Like when I first got mine, I felt like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? I felt a little bit of a surge. I'm like, okay, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like never that I felt, unprotected beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of added on to that, like you say, nuance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to protect myself at all times, even in that standpoint. But I'd rather not bring it out. If I gotta bring it out, then I'm probably gonna end up using it. So, that's another part of it that you have to take in consideration as well. Me coming from Illinois, and then having such strict gun laws there, and then it being a little bit more loosely fitted here in Texas, that also was another thing that was very interesting to me as well, because of course, if you're like 21 years of age, if I got a driver's license, you're allowed to, get a weapon. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little different. They got to go through the LTC process and all the stuff like that, and other places, especially Illinois, because they want to make sure they're regulated because of such high crime rates. But I do have a theory, and it's just a theory, doesn't mean it is completely solid, but I think it's almost like with the bootlegging process, right?
Okay.
If it's readily available, then I think people will be less, enticed to be able to use it or feel like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta meet my blicky, you know what I'm saying? Or with the bootlegging situation, oh yeah, we can do the speakeasies, we can go do things in secrecy. I think people are more enticed by that situation. When you make it readily available, at that point, it kind of loses a little bit of its it becomes more, I think it's the right word, terminology used, but at that point, it is not as...
appeal.
Yeah, the appeal. So then people at that point, I think, won't make it such a huge statement or make it a big deal. It's almost like if everybody has a gun, then it's like, what's so unique about it? And I think sometimes, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the crime rates would be different. If you know that, okay.
I wonder about that a lot, actually, because it's like pretty much everybody, like I said, in Texas, you should assume has a handgun, some type of firearm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would go so far as to say you should assume they have it on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know I do, so, yeah.
That's just like, it's beyond even like self-defense or anything like that. It's just kind of like the culture, you know what I'm saying? To like, personally, I grew up around guns and stuff like that, just because it was a hobby of my dad to just collect guns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not even on the like street stuff necessarily.
I like
it. It was
guns
just,
too.
just like, yo, we like guns. So we got a lot of guns.
Yeah.
So I grew up around them in that sense. And that's just kind of the culture here. So it's like two schools of thought. Like, all right, are we safer because like that's in people's mind? Because people still shooting, you know what I'm saying? Or, is it actually worse in other places where that's not the case?
Right. And we can kind of give two examples of the situation with that recent shooting. Even at out front of my place and where I stay at the Frisco Fair, they had a shootout there. And then at the Allen Outlets, the guy came and shot the outlets out. But then it was another situation where somebody went to rob a restaurant and these gunmen came up in there not expecting to get shot. Because somebody else was able to, pull out their gun and defend themselves in that situation. So like you said, it's two sides of it all.
Yeah. It's like, yo, is having a gun or having guns more readily available a deterrent to crime, or does it actually, kind of promote it or heighten it? Yeah.
I think it also plays a part in the human psyche. Like if you know somebody, depending on the person. Now, if somebody is, ill-minded and doesn't know how to, manage the gun, because it's not the gun itself.
Absolutely.
That's where it leads to next for me. It's not the gun. It's the person behind the gun that's rightfully bearing that arm.
Yeah.
So, and that would take away, and this is kind of expand on what it talks about is that the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, all well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So, that right there in itself to me, speaks volumes. And I enjoy that amendment, but at the same time, we do think about, like I said, if the person behind the gun is not taking that situation into consideration, that power that they have now, and how it can actually affect other people, then that's when I feel like it becomes an issue. But again, it could become an argument for most folks. And if y'all got any feelings about it, please, post, say something. But I do feel like if you have it more readily available, it's less likely that people are going to try to come after you. But there are those anomalies that situations happen that people do things that's very destructive. So,
and I lean more toward that side as well. I think, like you said, it is the person behind the gun, and I think if we all kind of adopt more of what's really behind like gun culture, I guess, as far as being a legal gun owner who has respect for what it means to have a weapon on you, to use that, you know what I'm saying? Like who knows how to okay, I'm gonna keep this holstered. If I pull it out, I know the proper way to hold it, the proper way to, to check the, those kind of things. If we teach that and learn more respect about it, I feel like it cuts down on some of the BS.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when I first got my EDC, I was like, it was in 2020, and I was at one of the protests, and it was just it was my first time having that on me, and I'm hearing bangs everywhere, and my first instinct is to be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's that after when I got home, that experience, thinking back on that, it made me reflect and be like, okay, I was wilding a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really, it's good that I have that reflex, have quick reflexes, but at the same time, it's okay, I need to be able to stop and assess, okay, even if that was a situation, what would I have really, been able to, would I have put somebody else in harm's way? It just makes you, there has to be checks and balances in your own head. And I feel like a lot of people don't have the ability to think critically that. And that's why so many people just doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, and even with the George Floyd situation with the guy that went out, the young teenager that had it was an AK-48, some type of, semi-automatic, firearms out there shooting some of the protesters and killed some people as well, and still kind of got away with it. It was crime, I understand. You see those instances as well too, and it's kind of okay, it's good and bad and everything.
Absolutely.
And again, like I always associate it as almost like a superpower. You acquire these things, but they're like with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
So knowing what it is and like going to the gun range, knowing how to take care of your weapon, being able to clean it, being able to actually properly use it without misfire, locking it away so that again kids can get hold of it.
Yeah.
There's certain things that come with that responsibility. But if you have the right mindset, then of course I think people should have that.
Right.
And it's funny enough because I have a story. On my dad's side of the family, I had an auntie that found the gun, and she's a little mentally challenged, but she ended up firing it off by accident, like shooting the gun. She didn't hurt herself or anybody else, but in those type of instances, you definitely have to make sure, again, you're very careful about how it being, locked up and being put away so somebody else won't think it's a toy, and then accidentally shoot somebody in the face. So like those type of occurrences do take place as well too. I think having a gun, like again, I can associate myself to that as well. Didn't really bother me as much, you know what I mean? Because my family like my dad always had like 2 or 3 guns on him. But he wasn't one of them cats that, anyway, my pops, man, that man is crazy. He took a gun out on the police. He did some wild stuff, man, locked up for it. And my grandfather, funny enough, had a story. It was a rock roller that used to live next to us, but the gate wasn't properly set up. He kept telling the neighbors to fix the gate, and the dog was getting too close to us as kids when we used to play in the backyard. And he got mad. My grandfather, rest in peace to, Johnny Will, Mr. Wright. That man was a beast. He was a street dude, but nobody messed with him on the block. He scared everybody, including us sometimes. But anyway, he ended up shooting the rock roller and killing it on the spot because the dog was almost jumping over the fence. And he had warned the neighbors. So you see these instances and I see the lifestyle behind it. I think it's just all about the person and how they're dealing with that actual weapon. And I've also seen my parent or my dad and my uncles, and then when it's New Year's, go out there and shoot the gun off. My sister was terrified, but I thought it was amusing. I'm like, oh man, I want one of those. I need one of those. You know what I mean? So everybody's just had a different, I think, experience with it. I think it's all about the person, like you said, and who's behind the gun too.
Yeah. And my one of the things my pops used to say is like, if you have it, you do have to be mindful that it comes with like a certain energy that's going that might put you, make it more probable for you to actually have to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to be mindful of that. And he always used to say, if you're gonna pull it, make sure you use it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So
same thing I was saying earlier. If I gotta pull it out, it's for a reason.
Exactly.
I mean, I sleep next to mine, but not scare nobody. But I mean, it's just for my own. I don't live in a bad area. I live in a nice area, but
you never know.
I mean, I latch my door, but you just never know who can do what. You know what I'm saying? Because stuff happens, and I'd rather not have to use it, but I will use it. I won't abuse it.
And there's people who have them and they keep them locked up and stuff like that, like as you should, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Me personally, I feel like it's just another, not to disrespect the power of a handgun or anything like that, but I feel like it's just another weapon. Me personally, like I said, grew up around weapons and in martial arts and stuff like that. I got katanas and nunchucks and knives and everything all around here. It's something in every room.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of see it as just like another that. You know what I'm saying? It's just another knife that's there. You know what I'm saying? As long as you know how to use it properly and stuff like that. But then of course, if people come over, make sure it's put away, things like that. But I feel like it should be readily available. Like if somebody break in, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I gotta go to the lockbox, put in this code.
I can't wait to go get it. And unfortunately, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I used to think like, I can't wait to use my. All right, baby, have right in my back. Like, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm like, all right, they're not patting down. All right, I got it with me. Because you hear the music, and the music has an influence as well sometimes too. But again, you got to be able to be mature enough and understand that it's not a situation. Because I don't want to change anybody's life. At that point, when I take it out, I can change your life, and things can happen. It can change mine as well, too, because of whatever the situation is. And I think you've had an experience with a friend that, I don't want to put no names out there, that had a, situation that took place and it impacted his life in a certain way.
For sure.
So it could definitely change a lot of different things. So it is a huge responsibility. It's like, having a kid. You got to make sure you take care of it, keep it, under.
There's a few constants in life, and one of them is that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so everything you do is going to have consequences. And that's something that I try to, listen, I'm a praying man. Literally every time I touch my weapon, my EDC, any weapon, I'd be like, I pray 2 things. I'm like, I pray I never have to use it, But if I am in a situation that I have to use it, that, I come out victorious.
Okay.
And then, the second thing is I remind myself is like, okay, I'm touching it. I remind myself it's hot.
Yeah.
Check for the, make sure the safety's on. It's in the holster, boom, to go through my mental checklist.
Always.
So it's like, just, be careful.
I'm the same way as well. I don't play around with it. It's not a toy. But I make sure it's in my house and I got it out. I take the clip out, make sure the chamber's clear. And I just, make sure I can hold it correctly. I'm, kind of like, whatever I need to do when I'm not at the range, whatever the situation is, just to make sure. But I need to get to your level where I, keep it consistent and clean because I haven't used it. Besides the time we actually went to the gun race the first time. I want to get more.
Right.
I want to get more guns.
Sure.
That's not going to stop.
For sure. I feel like everybody should have at least 3 in the house.
3.
I don't care how big. Care how big or small your
Trinity.
crib
I call it
is.
the Holy Trinity.
The Trinity right there.
I call it the Holy Trinity. I got 1, 2, 3. So you come over here, I can get you with that one. I got one over here. You know what I'm saying? And I got one in the car.
Get you a handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle.
We on the same, synergy is there. I definitely agree with that. My mom's like, you sound like you got some stuff going on. There's always something drastic. I ain't doing nothing. I'm selling artwork. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the podcast. I'm working. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, and that's another thing that's very interesting. Like, people always associate guns with something that's negative.
Right.
But if they took that right away from us, you know what I'm saying? That would speak volumes. Because then I remember my mentor said to me, like, if they ever decide to, whenever the government tells you to do something of that multitude, you might need to do the opposite.
Yeah.
They tell you to get rid of guns, you might need to get some more guns. You know what I'm saying? With the history of this country, but we're not gonna get too into depth because he was a Black Panther. Shout out to my mentor, Sherrod Quelly. But yeah, he definitely was a big mentor for me, of course. He, 45 acres of land back in Kankakee, Illinois. Shout out to where I'm from, whatever. But he definitely would speak to me about things. I used to be a network operator and technician. He was a network engineer as well too. So he used to talk to me about a lot of stuff when he was on, in the shift working the knock or whatever overnight. So he talked to me about a lot of different things. I told you about the book he gave me as well too.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're dealing with somebody that was dealing with that time period, and we can talk about the Black Panthers, if we want to get into the depth. He was definitely had his own chapter.
And certain biases.
Yeah, he had his own chapter. So of course, in his mind, he thinking like they seen the whole different realm of how things were being taken place. And these shootings that we're seeing on social media wasn't on social media back then.
Exactly.
So if a cop killed somebody, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of, all right, just another Negro, gone. So different times.
I do wish we could go back to the days of, saying not having firearms and stuff like that. I mean, in a perfect world, I feel like that would be much better. I would much prefer to have to, pull out a blade or something like that and just go mano a mano with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Master C. That's a sound bite. That's promo right there. Do some, my boy, he ain't playing no games. Y'all understand my boy Cole.
I got something right.
I didn't know he had that over there. God,
something in every room.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Let me get my Zorro on.
I was over there one time and you just like, all right, I got this. I was like, oh man, where you get that girl from? He's like, all right, he incognito with it. You know what I'm saying? Peaceful, my man, peace.
That's another thing.
He carry a peace though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's another thing. Like people don't have to know, and they probably shouldn't.
No,
there's so many people that carry and it's so reckless and just ignorant about it.
It's sometimes it's always good, less is more. And sometimes the element of surprise is a lot more efficient than
exactly.
putting everything out there. We play chess, so you know how that goes.
Right.
You always steady going back and forth mentally, you know what I'm saying? But it's not a bad thing. It's great to be, mental sparring. And again, that still associates back to understanding how to have that mindset in order to keep a gun, keep yourself protected, and when and when not to actually use it. So
exactly.
Absolutely, man. I want to ask you, personally, if they decide some kind of crazy way to get rid of, the Second Amendment or our rights to bear arms in some kind of way, how do you feel like that would be an impact on your life?
On my life, personally?
Yeah.
I don't think it would impact very much.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna just pretend I didn't hear that.
Okay.
I'm gonna just pretend I didn't hear that when, oh, they did what? They did what?
I mean,
when?
Because for me, I'm like, if they decide to do that, for me, it's gonna strike a chord. For me, I'm be like, okay, what's the agenda? What's the next move?
For sure.
Not that I want to go through the conspiracy and the rabbit holes, but I mean, at any point when things are being relinquished or taken away from you, you got at that point think to yourself, okay, what's the next move?
Yeah.
Life is the chess game. So
and it's like, yeah, exactly, because people, they know, like the lawmakers and stuff, they know that at this point, all the little things they be trying to do, the buybacks and all of that stuff, it's not making a dent in.
It's not, like, people are still gonna have
Pandora's box is open. Right. You know what I'm saying? We'll never be any of these other countries, you know, that don't have gun. We'll never be Korea or even the UK.
Because they can't
to where, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody got a gun over there. I'll be watching them like K-dramas and stuff like that.
Yeah, they use sticks. I'm like that little with the electrical, with the what they call them joints? Taser gun. There we go. Stun guns. I'm like, what that's gonna do? The rubber bullet ones or whatever.
Or it's like when somebody does have a gun in the show, it's like the craziest thing ever. Like they dramatize the heck out of it. It's like,
I mean, America is, it's a culture. In its own sense. I think we're still developing our culture because it's still a young country. It's only been around for 400 or 500 years. Where other countries been around for thousands. So, I think they have a different level of sensibility when it comes to those type of things because life is in a higher regard. I think in comparison to over here, because such brutal things are taking place in the culture of this country.
Yeah.
Because you had to think like a lot of people migrated here because they were in fear of what was going on with the Catholic Church and being Protestant and all that stuff that was taking place and being hung and, you know what I'm saying, craziness that they were trying to avoid. So I think they went through all their turmoils that we already are seeing now. And as a developing country, I think we still have a lot to understand and grow in regards to that. But I think the gun culture is what it is. And even when I watch Twister, like I feel like it's good that he's implementing what he does. Shout out to Twister as well too. And like showing that it's cool to actually get trained up on how to actually use a firearm versus just having a gun, toting it, thinking I'm big and bad. You know, I'm trying to get my rocks off. But then at the end of the day, all you're doing is impacting your life and affecting somebody else at the same time as well. Too,
exactly. So. And it's really like we've said, it's the man or woman. It's the person behind it. Not the thing itself. Like at the end of the day, if you can't feel like a man without having a weapon on you, then you're not a man. That's just what it is. Like and I'm a big proponent of everybody should take self-defense classes. Like at least a month of self-defense classes. 6 weeks if you can. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be no lifelong thing, but it's just crazy to me, insane to me, even more insane that people would buy a gun and not know like tactical skills behind using it, or people would just go throughout life not knowing how to fight. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Like especially people who buy weapons, who buy firearms, who have an EDC or something like that. Like you're just gonna depend on that. So you acknowledge, it's like you're acknowledging the importance of self-defense, but you're gonna put your eggs all in one basket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
So
I agree. I mean, I need to hold myself accountable for that as well. I definitely need to take some self-defense class. I mean, you kind of showed me some stuff, but it ain't nothing like near to the capacity of what I could actually know how to kind of grow within that aspect of things. Because being able to defend yourself in any type of situation is very important. I mean, the gun should really be the last resort.
Right.
You know, it should be being able to physically, protect yourself. I think the gun is if you have one or two people that you know you can't defend yourself against. I mean, let's just be realistic. It ain't like no, Jason Statham. What's his name? The dude that Tony John. I ain't doing all that. You feel me? Like I can't be fighting 5 or 6 niggas. That's choreographed. That's in the movies. Like one person get you on the ground, that's a wrap. You know, you on the ground, you could probably do some things to defend yourself, but multiple people, you might have just kind of, disperse that situation. So there's always different scenarios, case by case. But what you're saying is very, very, very important.
I even have pet peeves of like watching TV shows and seeing people like hold guns wrong, incorrectly. Because it's just like, all right. And this is what, so like
when they trying to be cool or something, like, bro, you got
or even just like holding it like this,
bro,
going around the corner with their arms completely extended.
You gotta keep it down, John.
So when you walk around the corner like this, the gun is dead.
It's exposed, right?
Thank you.
I can grab it, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like John Wick was like one of the best depictions of how to actually.
It was the best.
Like John, shout out
the
to
best.
what's it? Keanu Reeves. Shout out to
Keanu
him, bro.
Reeves
Like
and
whoever produced that movie, like to hold the gun properly, it teaches,
Yeah.
shows you the right example or how to
Exactly,
actually.
and watching the behind the scenes of that, him and Holly Berry. Holly Berry did her thing too.
Lord have mercy.
Shout out to Holly Berry.
Lord
you know what I'm saying?
have mercy on my soul, Holly
Nice
Berry.
guys, love you.
The older you get, the finer you get. That's not a bar. That's
Yeah.
Sanaa Lathan. The older you get,
Man.
the more delicious, the more delectable. Anyway, so back to the right to bear arms and John Wick. So I don't know.
Shout out to Terran Tactical. I'm gonna give me one of those beautiful guns right there.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? It's some joints out there. If you want to shout out any Instagram handles that you know or whatnot that have guns. I know what's his name, Black Rambo.
Black Rambo's a huge
That's my boy. But he make it so
crazy
excitable.
stuff.
But he's trained. He's from the military. He's military trained. So shout out to him. You want to give his tag or whatever. Black Rambo. Shout out to him. We would love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Talk about what you want to talk about, of course. But yeah, man. Second Amendment, man. We definitely chopping it up on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. It's very important. And it's important to understand, like make sure you understand the laws in not only in your state, but
All
states that you might frequent. Like, because there's certain states that like for me, my EDC is M&P 9. It holds, 17, 18, but I can't take that to California, you know what I'm saying? Because I think their max magazine capacity is like, 9 or 10 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's not legal out there. So like just know certain laws, like you don't need your LTC in Texas anymore.
No, you don't.
You can conceal carry without a license.
As long as you got a driver's license, 21 years of age.
And as long as you have your gun in a holster,
Yep.
certain stipulations, like you need to know that. Like you might just have a gun tucked and be like, oh yeah, I'm good. That's not lawful.
Yeah. So you get caught up with that.
You're right.
And then if you don't have it in your trunk and it's exposed or whatever, and the police see it, then that can be sitting on your lap trying to be cool or whatever the situation is. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely have a really bad experience with that. Having to spend time in jail because of the fact that you got pulled over and you got a gun trying to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Because you hear Young Dolph or whoever else is talking.
Exactly.
Nothing against them. I love their music or whatever some way, but at the same time, they might not always be living the lifestyle that you want to live. You know what I'm saying? And see the results of situations. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. But yeah, man, definitely important because every territory, I don't always call them states, I call them territories. It's just my own thinking or whatever because I don't believe in states. I think
Got you.
territories, but that's just my own mindset on that. But yeah, man, I think we definitely hit on some markers, man, in regards to what's going on with the Second Amendment. We definitely gonna have some footage about what we're gonna do as well about that gun range. We just want to talk about it.
We've been in a while, so we might be a little rusty, but
have a little fun today, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk too, man. We about to get it in here real quick with this Rifle Gear. Shout out to Rifle Gear off 121 highway. I think that's what it's called. I'm still on the highways out here, so don't shoot me. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Illinois. I'm still learning some of these locations or whatever. But yeah, Rifle Gear. Shout out to them. They got a nice little facility. It's pretty well secured. Speaking of, man, also you go to the gun range, make sure you know where you're going. Because there's been cases and situations where people have actually like gone off the hinges and just started killing everybody. I don't want to get too, that's kind of dark, but I probably shouldn't just throw it in there. But there was a cat I was talking to, man, he was inviting me out. He was telling me about a situation, like make sure that you are in a very secure location, that it is locked up and there's certain restrictions. It prevents from there being those type of scenarios taking place. Like when you go to Rifle Gear, they lock the doors behind you. So whatever goes down, you get crazy. If
everybody else is
if they don't get you,
safe.
Eventually somebody will get you. So you're not finna just do whatever you want to do. So those type of environments that you're in terms of going to the gun range, those take that consideration as well too. Is very important. For sure.
Hey man, I think we done it, huh?
I think we did it, man. So again, we just wanted to talk about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Of course, we enjoy the concept of collecting guns and being able to use them, but also understand the importance of how to use the guns and being responsible about them and understand that it is a power that you do have provided to you. And again, we're just grateful to have that because at one point our ancestors ain't had that. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of things. So for us to be able to evolve and get to that point, at this point in life, it's definitely something to take into consideration and appreciate, but also know how to use it in the proper sense. Absolutely. But again, like I said, my name is Jacques Wright.
This is Adrian Peace.
And again, this is the Nice Guys Podcast. We appreciate y'all support. One love. Y'all be safe.
Peace.